This is about 6 months before the promised launch of Cardano. Why would he do that? In my opinion, because he had a vendetta against Vitalik Buterin, and Cardano wasn't even close to being ready. He saw an opportunity for revenge, so he took it.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this video we're going to be reacting to two videos by Chico Crypto, pretty prominent channel in the crypto space, and it is about Charles Hoskinson and some controversy. Let's look into it, but before we get into it, let me make sure my audio is working. Charles Hoskinson. Alright, bet. Alright, let's look at the beginning. Let's start from the beginning of this video. The untold story. You won't believe what Charles did. The untold story. You won't believe what Charles did. Shady ICO and delayed product due to Ethereum Classic. Let's start from the beginning. Alright, I think this is a good spot.
Of the breakdown of one of the biggest beefs in cryptocurrency, the beefs between Charles Hoskinson, Dan Larimer, and Vitalik Buterin. In the last episode, which can be viewed by clicking this tag, we learned that Charles teamed up with Dan Larimer to create BitShares. He and Dan had major disagreements, leading to him leaving BitShares and joining another team to co-found Ethereum with Vitalik. Then Charles started major beef in the BitShares versus Ethereum debate publicly on Bitcoin Talk. This prompted Larimer to send out a heated response. Within a few months, Charles was unanimously voted out of the Ethereum team and went on to create his own blockchain company, IOHK. And this is where the next part of the story begins.
Wait a minute, you know what this reminds me of, yo? This reminds me of, literally, I listened to the audiobook of Steve Jobs and his autobiography, and this literally reminds me of how people saw Steve Jobs. Beware of this shark. He'll be your friend one day and plan your destruction in secret the next. That is literally one of the quotes that people, is similar to one of the quotes somebody said about Steve Jobs, which I find extremely interesting. Let's continue.
A few months, Charles was unanimously voted out of the Ethereum team and went on to create his own blockchain company, IOHK. And this is where the next part of the story.
Bro, Steve Jobs created his own company called Next. Dude, it's crazy how paralleled this is.
Story begins. The formation of IOHK. What we were told is IOHK got its beginning and funding by building blockchains for enterprises, private institutions, and governments, paid in Bitcoin. But what really funded IOHK was the Cardano ICO. I tried to find information about the early projects Charles and IOHK worked on, but didn't find a thing. If anyone has any information, please let me know in the comments. What I did find was this. On the IOHK website, it says was founded in 2015. Then, if we go to Start US, which details company information, it looks like the company was founded on Tuesday, September 1st, 2015. The Cardano ICO officially launched on September 1st, 2015. So I don't know if that website is pulling information from the ICO or if that is when IOHK was officially registered. But it's obvious to me that funding for IOHK didn't come from anything like enterprises, private institutions, or the government, but came from the Cardano ICO. So how did Cardano come to be? In 2015, IOHK and some Japanese companies designed a massive initial coin offering for the platform. Attain Corporation of Japan joined as fundraising lead, with stipulation that they would go their separate ways upon its scheduled Q1 2017 launch. Attain and Japanese salesmen targeted Japanese businessmen with promises of massive returns. For example, this marketing material, which suggests Cardano will 60x, just like Ethereum, even showing BitShares in their marketing material. Now, isn't that ironic? They also used suggestive marketing materials like Charles is a genius mathematician. This marketing and fundraising would continue for nearly 2 years. Cardano would raise a total of $63 million from its ICO, and the Japanese investors got vouchers for their Cardano tokens. No tokens yet. Now, Cardano was supposed to launch according to their roadmap targeted at the Japanese in Q1 of 2017. Well, Q1 passed. Attain's contract expired, which was the entity that communicated the most with the Japanese investors, and overall communication with the Japanese was cut off. The Japanese were supposed to be able to redeem their vouchers, were left with nothing. Japanese started to scream scam, like this blog post asking if it's fraudulent. So let us back up a bit. During the Japanese ICO in July of 2016, Charles Hoskinson officially announces he will be joining Ethereum Classic. This is about
Dun dun dun! Alright. So, we have the setup here. Charles Hoskinson, Cardano ICO. Japanese investors all getting a promise. Let's see what happens. Oh, 6 months before the launch of Cardano. Well, sorry. Let me back it up. So Cardano is about to ICO. Japanese investors are promised the tokens and then completely cut off. If this is true, then obviously it's unethical and it's immoral. And then another bit of drama. Charles Hoskinson joins the Ethereum Classic team. This part he did tweet out, and it is true. Let me show you guys. Where's the tweet at?
Hoskinson officially.
Oh, okay, here it is. Yep, rejoining Ethereum to start making contributions to Classic. Ethereum Classic. Now, let's see where this is headed.
Announces he will be joining Ethereum Classic. This is about 6 months before the promised launch of Cardano. Why would he do that? In my opinion, because he had a vendetta against Vitalik Buterin, and Cardano wasn't even close to being ready. He saw an opportunity for revenge, so he took it. With funds secured from the Cardano crowd sale, IOHK was able to beef up their staff and turn their attention away from Cardano to Ethereum Classic. Need some proof? Barry Silber. He was pushing hard for Ethereum Classic, with Digital Currency Group investing heavily. In December of 2016, Barry put out this tweet. IOHK, Charles Hoskinson, just hired 7 developers, yes 7, to work exclusively on Ethereum Classic. This was only 1 month before the close of the Cardano ICO. It's totally obvious too that Cardano was put to the side. Now if you're the leader of a project like Cardano and you had months to fulfill the Q1 launch date, would you then decide to go work on a completely different project 6 months before, then hire 7 developers 1 month before the start of Q1? No, you wouldn't. If anything, you would hire more developers to fulfill your obligation to Cardano and its investors.
Fucking muted. What do you guys think, y'all? If this is true, then obviously, I think we would all be agreeing that this isn't right. And the way the story is set up, it is controversial and it is unethical to be putting Cardano to the side for a vendetta. And, I mean, yeah, that's all I can say about it, really. That it is a controversial past. But I think it is important to look at it from the perspective, from this angle, because, you know, I am a supporter of Cardano, and I gotta look at it from all sides. Completely, you know. And I will be subconsciously biased towards Cardano, giving it the benefit of the doubt. But I understand why many others won't. Many people who don't like Charles Hoskinson and don't like what he's done, I can see why with these controversies, just like people didn't like Steve Jobs. I don't even think I would have liked Steve Jobs hearing some of the stories there. But it's so interesting how there's so many parallels here.
Well, let's see how moving over to Ethereum Classic would play out for Charles. Charles came into Ethereum Classic and attempted to position himself and IOHK as the entities that move the protocol forward. Like how the Ethereum Foundation is for Ethereum, IOHK would be that for Ethereum Classic. In early 2017, Charles did a series of videos with crypto YouTube channel Cryptocurrency Market for Ethereum Classic news and updates. In return, the owners of the channel got exclusive interviews with Charles, like this one in which they wrote a blog post about on February 4th, 2017. If we scroll down, they say, "We believe ETC is now led by Charles Hoskinson and his company IOHK, the same way Vitalik Buterin and the Ethereum Foundation lead the development of Ethereum." Then, by the end of February, IOHK submitted a proposal to implement a treasury within the protocol layer of the blockchain. This was met by massive opposition from Ethereum Classic core developers, as it created an inflationary model, which was against the core values of the project. Charles' proposal was targeting the protocol itself, and it pissed off a lot of the core devs who originally completed the Classic upgrade and fork. This forced Charles to write an apology letter for the proposal to try to explain his reasoning. It didn't go over well because towards the end he starts insulting the Classic core devs. Example here, taking someone else's code and making modification does not make you a core developer of a project. Ouch. Well, none of this panned out for Charles, and again he was pushed out of another project. Charles didn't go down without a fight though. He had the team develop Mantis, a client built specifically for Ethereum Classic, and was built to demonstrate that it had the technical competency and culture to be a leader of ETC. And Ethereum Classic wasn't just a copy-paste, as shown in this blog post about it from IOHK's website. Charles basically gave up on Ethereum Classic last month in December of 2018 from a video where he announces the retirement of the Classic team. Let's watch now.
So, moving into 2019, we'll see what we do, but at the moment, unless a funding source comes in for Ethereum Classic, we're going to retire that team. We learned a lot. We love the community. We love the people there, and we think it was worth the effort and worth the time that was put in. But like all good things, must come to an end at some point, and we're going to move in a different direction unless there's funding to stay in this current course, in this direction.
So the Classic team is getting retired unless some sort of funding comes in. He was still trying to get his treasury proposal passed even a month ago. Well, as we know, Ethereum Classic got 51% attacked, and coming back from that will be very difficult for the project. So the attempt to overthrow Vitalik and Ethereum with a Classic move, it failed. Like mentioned before, while all this time and effort was spent trying to control Classic and build things for it, Cardano was most likely put to the side until the crypto markets really started to take off. So, Q1 of 2017 was the date Cardano was supposed to be launched. This got delayed, and Cardano was accused of being a scam by their Japanese investors. Remember, Cardano marketed to their investors this was something they could retire on and would get gains like Ethereum or BitShares. Well, in 2017, Bitcoin started taking off like a rocket, increasing from 1K to 2K to 3K to 4K. With each passing day, the investors were expecting something from Cardano. This prompted Cardano to come out with something and something quick. They released a dataless wallet in October of 2017, and those vouchers that the Japanese had could finally be redeemed. But is this actually a major development in blockchain, or was this rushed out to cash in on the impending bull run? Well, the overall consensus is the dataless wallet isn't that great.
So, I can't act like I was in the crypto space in 2017. That was like 4 years ago, so I was 14. Freshman in high school. Young bull. Alright. To be honest with you, I have no idea what happened from 2015 to 17? So 2015 was when IOHK was founded. Yeah, I don't know what happened in those almost 3 years. What I do know is that it's important to know, it's important to understand, and I'm sure that from all of this experience, the team at IOHK learned something. You know, Charles Hoskinson, IOHK, the rest of them, I think that this is a huge, like, something that they learned from. Do I agree with it? Eh. But what I am passionate about is Cardano's vision. And let me get this straight, bro, because IOHK and Cardano, in the beginning, yes, they had to get Cardano up and running, so they were the main ones controlling everything. As Cardano matures and the community matures, IOHK and Charles Hoskinson aren't Cardano.
And this is all that has been put out by Cardano after nearly 4 years. Now, I'm not going to hate on the tech because I am in no...
Oh, okay, so it was 2018, not 2017. So nearly 4 years, yeah. I don't know what the hell they were doing that entire time. But I think that this actually is like an important... I think this actually was an important turn of events for them. Because in 2017 was that whiteboard video by Charles Hoskinson. And then I think from then on they started going around and actually doing presentations and stuff about Cardano, and I think that's maybe when they started taking it more seriously. But that's just speculation. I wasn't actually there. The consensus, the notion is kind of like peer-reviewed research papers. That's the way they approached it. Which he doesn't mention in this video. But I think that is what I don't know if it's what they did from 2015 to 2017, but I'm fairly confident that... Actually, let me look at the white papers. I can actually do that. Cardano white papers. No, IOHK white papers. Research papers. Here we go. Alright, here we go. In the beginning, 2016. One research paper. Then 2017. A lot. Like, a good amount of research papers. So you can love them, you can hate them, but they were putting out stuff, at least trying. Yeah, you can criticize them, but there were still research papers being done. Could it have been faster? Maybe.
Is a cryptocurrency, kinda.
This is the wrong video. It is. Oh, actually, no, that's pretty much all that this video has to talk about. Let's talk about the next one, which this one is about Cardano exposed, taking from small businesses. Look at the difference between Chico and, by the way, a year later. Anyway, am I gonna grow a beard? So this video is about Cardano, input output, IOHK, taking the PPP loans that were intended for small businesses, as well as other cryptocurrency projects and companies that did it. So he pretty much calls out like the entire crypto industry on doing so.
Of a crypto and the company who made buku bucks in 2016 and 2017 by doing a massive ICO and having their coin pump way up there. This is the company behind Cardano, IOHK, and they received between $350K and $1 million from Bank of America in May. Now, you guys have to know I do not like Charles Hoskinson whatsoever. He is a nasty fellow in my opinion, and this just proves it more to me, because the fool he took to YouTube airwaves to discuss it all, and he obliterated himself. We could watch...
Yeah, so this video is a little less unbiased than the other one, but it's an important perspective to look at.
Watch his whole spiel about why he did it, making excuses left and right, but a Bitcoin meme hub on Twitter put together a nice summary. Let's watch now.
I have two options. Option A is to stand on principle and say, oh, well, that's a bad program, so we won't participate, accepting that all my competitors, such as Consensus, will get that money. I hate the fact that we live in this environment, as much as the people in Major League Baseball hated the fact that other people were taking steroids. And they had to make a decision. Do we be a cheater when everyone else is cheating, or do we compete honestly? And when we do, we lose.
Well, that got on Charles' nerves because he decided to respond again on YouTube and make another fool of himself for abusing the PPP program. Let's watch what he said.
The point of fortifying companies is to give them an economic moat so that they can keep their people on payroll and continue investing. Or otherwise, what we're going to do, companies have to do, is lay people off.
So the base.
Dude, it's so crazy how what was I gonna say? The parallels between Charles Hoskinson and Steve Jobs with they're both so bad at public relations. Oh my gosh, y'all should hear Steve Jobs' story, bro. If YouTube was around when Steve Jobs, bro, he would have ended his career a while ago, especially on Twitter. Especially if Twitter was around back then.
The basis of this program was to create an economic moat for you to keep investing. What? Thanks for letting us know. That is what IOHK is looking to become, a VC fund. And you're.
Yeah, I think he kind of misinterpreted this part. As a company, like, you have to keep investing. You have to keep growing and scaling, whether it's investing in employees or investing in research and development phase. That's what I'm speculating that Charles Hoskinson meant. And he kind of took it as, like, investing. Oh, no! But I can see what he's talking about, or what he is bringing up.
Goal isn't to build. Let's continue.
And go pick on those people. But you're honestly going to go to an American business in Wyoming that gives money to the University of Wyoming, hires people in America, does work here, and pick on us because we got a few $100,000 in PPP.
So I'm not arguing that IOHK is legally located in Wyoming, but Charles, you are hiring many people from outside of the US. For example, this Reddit post asking what it's like to work at IOHK, and an employee answers, I'd never worked remote before, and I did find that a challenge that I am still not dealing with as well as I'd like to. I'm located in Australia and work with a team that is based in the US East and West Coast time zones. I also deal quite a lot with people in Europe. How about...
Yeah, I think he's just nitpicking here, like, trying to find a wrong in... trying to find a misstep in anything that Charles Hoskinson says at this point. Like, yeah, you are in Wyoming, but what about all these other places that you're hired at? I mean, I don't really think that's the point. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Just a couple seconds.
JavaScript, and a ton more. So this isn't only for your few US employees, this is also for your foreign workers, which are abundant. I will tell you that. Outsourcing cheaply is a common tactic among chatheads.
I don't know what's wrong with that. Outsourcing work. Hold on, there we go. I don't know what's wrong with that.
Let's keep it going, why don't we?
Let's be clear here. Cardano didn't get any money from the US government. A US-based company that hires Americans, that does business in the United States and does B2B services in the United States that have been shut down as a consequence of the government shutting itself down, got some money for the PPP, as did many other people in our industry and hundreds of thousands of American businesses. Cardano, as a blockchain project, is a global system and has received zero subsidy from anybody. It's an open source project, patent free, just like Bitcoin is, and it competes in that open domain against Bitcoin.
Oh.
So, hold up, before he talks. I know where, I can kind of understand where Charles is coming from. I also understand where Chico's coming from. Let's see. Charles is saying that IOHK isn't Cardano. Cardano's blockchain is meant to be a global, it's a project that people are working on globally, and input output is a company that happens to work on Cardano, is what he's saying. And then Chico is about to interpret it or like take it as so Cardano's not benefiting from it. I don't think that's what Charles is saying. He's trying to distinguish like this difference between, well, he basically defending like the choice that he made and IOHK made, but is kind of trying to distinguish that from Cardano. Like input output in the beginning stages, yes, had very firm hands and control over Cardano. They were the main developers, the core developers, and they actually, so in the beginning, very important part of Cardano. As Cardano matures and the community gets bigger and the reach gets bigger, it's no longer going to be specifically IOHK or Charles Hoskinson. So even, I think fundamentally, Charles Hoskinson agrees that decentralization is important, which is why he prioritized making sure that Cardano is such an open source and transparent project. Input output is completely different. Like input output is a company, and maybe even like subconsciously he knew like, hey, even if everybody in the crypto space hates me, they can't shit on Cardano because that's a separate entity that isn't me. So maybe he knew that, and maybe that's why he prioritized decentralization so much.
Cardano isn't benefiting from this money? Are you sure about that, Charles? Let's just continue with what he says, as he says, yes, open source code. The money is being spent on that. For what else? Cardano.
I don't think he said that it wasn't benefiting Cardano.
No.
It's a careful differentiation between these two things. And if I do things to make my company stronger, more solvent, where am I spending that money, Max? Come on. Where am I spending it? I'm spending it on research. I'm spending it on open source code. Over 1 million lines of it sitting in probably 200 repos at this point. We're spending it writing papers.
And I just want to finish with what he says regarding those dollar bills, because that is all that is on his mind.
So isn't it a good thing? The more money I have, the more money my company has, the more people my company has.
So it's plain out wrong, a crypto company who's sitting on ICO money, tokens, and more taking out a PPP loan. From IOHK's own statement on their ADA holdings, they said this: IOHK received both Bitcoin and ADA for its contract to work on the Cardano project. IOHK converted most of its Bitcoin at the time of receiving it to fiat in order to ensure project stability. With respect to IOHK's holdings of ADA, IOHK does not expect a need to liquidate any of its ADA to cover immediate costs related to the Cardano project until 2019. Therefore, IOHK will voluntarily adopt the following vesting schedule for its ADA. A third of it will be immediately available to IOHK. A third will be made available after June 1st of 2018. The final third of IOHK's ADA will be made available after June 1st of 2019. And they have all of it, which they are sitting on. Here is the IOHK Cardano wallet, and they have over 2.4 billion ADA. With current prices, that is $288 million, my friends. They didn't need anything. And now let's list the rest of these shatheads in the space, those who have tokens.
Yeah, so then he goes, he kind of talks about all the other cryptos that took the PPP loans, which I actually agree. And he goes on to like the rest of the video, which is talking about how specifically just his town suffered from COVID and stuff like that, and shutting down of businesses. So, do I disagree with that? Yeah, I do. Crypto businesses taking the bailouts when they didn't need it. But I do want to make the differentiator here that Cardano isn't Charles Hoskinson, and Cardano isn't input output. You can ask some people in the Cardano community. Some of them don't like Charles Hoskinson. As for me, I bet if I knew him personally, I'd be able to speak on that more. But I really can't because I'm learning things from, what's it called? I forgot what it's called, but I'm learning things from other people's stories and other people's perspectives. Like, it's not like I know him personally. Just like you can dislike Steve Jobs because you heard about all the stories about him, but I never knew about him. I never knew him personally. So, but yeah, Cardano isn't Charles Hoskinson, and Charles Hoskinson isn't Cardano. The more Cardano matures, I believe in the vision and the mission of what it's going to accomplish. And I think that this is an important perspective to look at. Like, oh, okay, yeah, these things did happen. Am I proud of these things? Not really. But I believe in overall what Cardano is accomplishing. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.